Hello, my friends. Holiday week here in the US, so people may be straggling in with all groceries and welcome. I wanted to, over these next few Mondays, I want to share some of my faves of things that we've done and also have a kind of I think it's great to have some kind of mantras or habits that refresh us about our practice of circulating our attention. And I was looking through some notes last night and I found a great Mary Oliver quote, which I've shared with you, but I want to share again, which is because it has to do with attention, my favorite subject. This is the first, wildest, and wisest thing I know, that the soul exists and that is built entirely out of attentiveness. It's built entirely out of attentiveness. And I love the attention. Attentiveness has that quality of gathering and giving. I think of like a baby bird or something that I want to gather in closely. So and the other thing that has been so clear to me over many years is that our loop of awareness allows us to circulate our attention. And there's so many things right now that block or flatten our attention, particularly devices, that if, and then we tend to mirror that in our bodies and get more two-dimensional rather than three-dimensional. So the basic purpose of the loop of awareness is to keep your attention circulating. I think of it as kind of meditation in action. So instead of, I finished my meditating this morning, which circulates my attention inside. And then as I'm moving around in the world to, not have to go someplace to recover my equilibrium, my loop of awareness keeps me in balance and aware of me and aware of others. But the quality that I was thinking of this morning is that our attention is a representation of how we are resonating, just how we are vibrating in the world. And so I think of our loop of awareness as an invitation to share resonance. And I was just thinking of our dear girl, Greta, when she would want attention. She had this thing she would do. She would do a little, how the cats scoop? She would scoop and then she would reach out her paw and just kind of let me know, I'm coming now. And I love that whole quality of getting ready with your attention, letting yourself resonate, and then letting that that resonance flow between you and the world. And so what we did some time ago was loop, land, breathe, and wiggle. So that's the little mantra that I want to share with you today, because I really love that one. So looping, letting your looping be, first of all, letting yourself sort of gather up your own resonance, like you're sounding your own bowl, you're beating and letting the whole, letting yourself enjoy resonance and then letting that loop and land. So you might let it loop and land on somebody else that's in the call. So loop and land, and then breathe and wiggle. So looping out, loop, land, breathe and wiggle, and then loop in, land. So I'm landing in my left hip. Breathing, I'm letting my breathing go toward my left hip. Breathing and then finding the wiggle that wants to happen. There are so many different kinds of wiggles. So what's the wiggle that's wanting to happen? Is it a whole body? Is it an up and down? Is it a side to side? Is it a back and forth? Is it a really big wiggle or is it just a tiny little wiggle? Lots of choices. So so letting yourself loop, and that means let your resonance, let it go out, loop, land, breathe, and wiggle. I'm bringing it back to you and letting that just circulate a few times. I'm letting my looping now, I'm looping out. I'm out in my studio. And so when I loop out, I have these wonderful things to loop out with. I have my lime tree, which has big old fat limes on it right now. And they've just received 9 inches of rain in our from our last rainstorm. And so they're going, whoa. And so I can also integrate, receive and integrate the qualities that I think are out there. So when I loop and land and then breathe and wiggle with the lime tree, I get and I bring it back to me. Loop, land, breathe, and wiggle. I get the lime tree's having a little strut this morning. It's like, look at me, I'm so full, I got juicy. And so I can integrate that for me as well. So you're looping, landing, breathing, and wiggle. My invitation to you, especially if you live in the States, that this is, because this is Thanksgiving week, everybody is frantic going to the store and buying everything. And so this is a great time to be presencing and enjoying looping. And I find that when I'm doing this, that the people around me also calm. there's a sense of more flow and connection, that this isn't about collecting all of the food that you can and eating. Like, we decided this year, we haven't had a turkey in many years. uh, I'm a very good cook, and I had one year where I cooked a goose that was just fabulous, but we've been trying to recreate that. We finally said, wait a minute, this is like our minestrone moment in Italy, where it's not ever going to get any better. So I just let go of it. But this year we're just having stuffing and potatoes, Anna. So we're having a carb Thanksgiving. So I want to invite you to let your looping, landing, and breathing and wiggling help you choose. Help you choose what you want, how you want to proceed, letting yourself be in the thankfulness of, wow, I woke up this morning with, wow, I have another day that I can move love around in the world. And that's what I also think of loop of awareness is. I'm just moving love around in the world. So let yourself just notice, even if that little bit of play has created more circulation for you, because that for me has been really the biggest benefit of the loop of awareness is I can create circulation shifts anytime, anywhere. And I make use of it, particularly over the holidays. A lot of the holidays are not fun for a lot of people, for all kinds of reasons. And so letting yourself be a beacon of love and light, you get to enjoy it, but also people around you get the gift of presence, rather than presence. So we actually, with some of our best friends that are coming over for Christmas, we made the big decision this year that we're not going to give each other presents. It was a whoa, it was really, and I just felt so happy about that. And so the gift of presence, your presence, which you can cultivate and have been, so many of you, we've been on this journey together of really cultivating our ability to move love around in the world. So, and is there anybody new here today? Is there anybody who hasn't been here before? I just wanted to welcome you. If you're new, just wiggle at me so I think I've seen all of you before, so it's wonderful to be with you. Okay, so now I want you to continue your looping, landing, breathing, and wiggling while we bring up the picture for today from our and this is one that with all of the ones that we shared, we hadn't shared this one, sort of from the Big Leap. So if you haven't read the Big Leap, this is, I am willing to take the big leap to my ultimate level of success in love, money, and creative contribution. I am willing to take the big leap to my ultimate level of success in love, money, and creative contribution. That pretty much sums it up. This is from Gay's book, The Big Leap. And here's the question, which I also really love. How much love and abundance am I willing to allow? So I also find that the loop of awareness really allows me to expand my willingness, my allowing, my receiving. So I know everybody on this call are big givers. And so in this season, I want to invite you to be willing to receive. And that big leap, I'm just looking at the picture, and somebody sent us something that that they had calculated that it was impossible for the fish to make it to the big bowl with the dimensions that we had. And I thought that was hilarious. So arguing for your limitations. So one of the things that I've gotten used to in the last 45 years of being with Gay is magic and daily magic. And the things that are impossible, seemingly impossible, with our love and attention become quite possible. So as you're doing a couple of looping, landing, breathing, and wiggling, I also think of the fish doing a wiggle leap. He's doing a big wiggle leap into his ultimate, or their ultimate level of success in love, money, and creative contribution. Now take a moment to just notice how hearing that and trying that on has actually landed for you. Because we think, oh, sure, I'll do a new affirmation and it's all going to be great. But I've found that when I'm intending or asked to expand, that I run into whatever my particular shadow is that day. I'm either, in my super competent, or I'm feeling like nobody likes me, or there'll be little residues of, oh, can this be allowed? Like one thing that I'm personally working on at this moment is letting myself expand and really, really be seen, and not be killed. So, sort of some generational stuff can come up also. So it may not just be, oh, la, la, la. When you're taking a big leap, what it does is bring up fear. And so this is a great time for you to add in fear melters, but also simply circulating your attention, I have found, allows my body to remember that I am resourceful. I can open up. I can notice the next opening, the next big leap that I might be able to take. And a big leap for you may be different than a big leap for somebody else. So I'd like you to just try this on this week, that you're willing. You're not making it happen. You're not pushing on it. You're willing. And then the universe can flow through you in ways that might surprise you. All right. And then let's come on back to the big group. And I'm going to take a look at what our present Connect play is for today. So presence says explore the 4 pillars of integrity. So that's these. So what I find is that for me, the heart of the 4 pillars are, am I keeping my agreements? Am I communicating authentically? Am I willing to listen to others appreciatively? And am I choosing how I'm acting? So am I choosing, which is responsibility. And somebody said, somebody was on a big talk show the other day, and they were saying that responsibility was, it was Mel Robbins. And she said, responsibility is the ability to respond. And I even said to the television, I said that. It's like, wait a minute, I said that. So things are, the ability to respond is literally the ability to choose. And so the shorthand version of practicing the integrity moves is anything to communicate, anything. And this could be something like, I don't know where I left my phone. I mean, it could be, it doesn't have to be profound, but it's actually true in the moment. And I've found when I'm circulating what's accurate, that opens up connection, flow, and the next step. And then keeping agreements is also connected with responsibility, but I will look at agreements. That's my first pass at the four pillars. Like, are there any agreements that I haven't kept? Or that I said I was going to do something, I haven't done it yet. So I'll write it down and make a plan when I'm going to do that. Or do I have an agreement issue with somebody else? That's what's coming up for me more now these days, where other people are not keeping their agreements with me. And so how to deal with that? And if that doesn't get handled, then I think all of the other four pillars can't really flourish, because your agreements are really your gateway. So that's what I'll often look at. If I'm wanting to go, how's my integrity today? I'll look first at agreements. And then if agreements are wobbly, then everything else is wobbly, because there's probably not a communication about it. There's probably some feelings for me or the other person, or that are circulating. And there's probably blame rather than taking responsibility going on, blame or burden. And so those have been very helpful for me to just, kind of do a little inventory of what do I want to be giving my attention to. And I've also found that any of the integrity cards, any of the integrity moves are going to assist me in experiencing and generating and enjoying wholeness, because integrity is all about wholeness. It's not about being right, which is one of the shadow ways that I confuse it with, well, I'm doing better than others, and get a little power over. But it is really about, am I willing to let myself be whole? Am I willing to be with others and to see and support their wholeness? And even if, like, one of your friends or one of your colleagues is not feeling whole, you're looping your own loving and your experience of wholeness with them. I've experienced opens up space for discovery, for feeling that sense of, oh, I can recover my wholeness. I'm not broken. And that whole orientation has probably been the most helpful for me about the integrity moves, is that I can experience myself as resourceful, that I can meet what's going on, and it's not perfect, but the experience of supporting wholeness is in itself, for me, very sweet. I get more breath, I get more flow, I feel warmth, and my intention to see others as whole, I think will be particularly valuable this time of year. Or going into toy stores and trying to find the last toy on the shelf, that kind of thing. So connect is a wonderful one, which is the creating and of course, with all of our processes are now, I mean, I haven't found one of them that isn't. They're all supported by research now. There are research projects showing up like every week that go, oh, humming is one of the best things that you can do. Vagus nerve, opening, connection. And we, of course, have been doing it for a couple of decades. So the and you might just contrast it for a moment with the the that's not working. Oh, that should not be happening. That's probably my core central repeating pattern that's gotten a lot softer over the years, but this cannot be happening moment when you in fact, just try it on a couple of I find that 2 or 3 full out breath just, it's like all the debris settles, and I can feel my aliveness rising and bubbling, and I feel possibility, and just that inner sweetness is something that we can give ourselves no matter what's going on around us. So I love that. And then, oh, and when I create a I'm open then to connection. within me, but also with others. And so the is something that children do very naturally. So if they're working on a project, they're humming, and it's a habit that I'd love for we adults to pick up again, and because it has just so many benefits to our creativity and our well-being. Oh, and then play is toss, toss, and then tell me more. So most of us, when we toss and then move into, either pushing against each other, bringing in data, going mental. So if I toss to somebody like, I notice that I notice that when I'm looking at you, I feel my breath just stopped, and or someone will say something to you, and you'll toss it back, and then when you add in the "tell me more," because often people don't know that they can say more, that you're interested in. Someone might say something really weird, like, "Oh God, these bananas suck." And instead of saying, "Oh, well, there are better bananas over there," what you can just say, you can, and then, "Oh, tell me more." The "tell me more" is just such a wonderful way rather than rebutting. So the habit for most of us is to push back. Someone says something that you don't agree with, and instead of fighting with them, "Oh, tell me more." Tell me more. So I'm adding in my connect move of with, "Oh, tell me more." And that then allows us to move into play rather than into combat. So those are our Presence Connect plays for today. So before I move on, I wanted to also share my favorite way of us celebrating each other is "here I am." So here's what's your "here I am" today? And notice, so I haven't done this yet today, and I noticed that there are all these spaces that I kind of have tucked, especially if I'm working on computer. So "here I am," and "I'm so glad." So "I'm so glad" is a love scoop. So "here I am," "here you are," and "I'm so glad." And I find that I need to do that 2 to 3 times to really get the engine moving. "Here I am," and "I'm so glad." And wouldn't it be wonderful for celebrations that you go to? I'd love to invite you to share that with your friends. That when you're gathering around the table or wherever you are, you can go, "Here I am," and "I'm so glad." And you could even have everybody do it all at once, or you could move around the table, depending on how shy everybody is about that. But I find even if I feel like I'm just going through the motions with it, "Here I am," and "I'm so glad," my body goes, "Yeah." My body celebrates, even if my head goes, "Oh, this is stupid," or whatever, to kind of, do a little upper limit with you. So I invite you to kind of stretch the limits a little bit when you're meeting people and family, this week and through the holidays. So lots of things for you to play with. Yeah. And I'm going to take my leave. I'm going to a meeting about grants and maybe getting a big grant for the foundation. So I'm taking all of this wonderful aliveness that we've shared together today. Thank you so much. And I wish you lots of joy and connection and the willingness to receive. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Mwah. Take
Enjoy
care.
your carb load.